let's say something else mechanical wise happens where you have to replace a fuel pump, a alternator, or something like that, right? Let's say you have the average small mechanical problems that happen to you throughout the year. I would say it would be safe on the small end to add 1,500 bucks. And I am going to advise anyone out there that's watching this video and you're currently driving in 2025, don't be so trapped in the grind, like what we said in the last video, to the point where you don't keep funds to the side, like a little bit of an emergency stash to the side to say, hey, you know what? When that mechanical issue does happen, I'm not really worried about it due to the fact of I have some money to the side. I could take a little break if I need to take a day or two off, or I have the money already to the side, so I know I'm not going to be financially stressed about it when that issue does happen. If it's a $300, $500, $800 mechanical bill, because my car is my source of income, it's not going to be something that when it happens, I'm in a predicament where I can't do it. Because the longer I procrastinate, the longer I sit on a broken car, I'm actually losing money. So when these mechanical issues happen, it's definitely going to be something that's very important for you to be able to have the cash on hand, immediately send it over to whoever you need to send it over, or call whoever it is you need to call in order to go ahead and have that fixed. I think another important thing to note is that I am taking a good year where you have normal mechanical problems, let's hypothetically say, right? That 1,500 that we added here that now brings us to 3,850, right, is a normal year with normal mechanical issues, right? There's one thing that I've made mention of in previous videos and I'll make mention of here, where it's like you could stay in the industry long enough and put hundreds of thousands of miles year over year on your vehicle, right? Or you could just have bad luck and be in a situation where you get a vehicle a year or two after being in the industry, you get hit with a engine failure. You got to go out and buy a new engine, or the transmission goes out. You have to now go ahead and put a new transmission in these cars. And now I feel like this is really the kicker, because now if you start getting into those issues and that 1,500 is not enough to cover those type of issues, a new engine, you could be looking at a $6,000 to $8,000 job. A new transmission, you could be looking at a $3,000 to $6,000 job. And this is going to be an occurrence that is going to go on top of that 1,500 that we already pulled to the side just for normal maintenance issues over the year that's going to happen on that vehicle, right? And even if you don't get into an issue, I'm going to be quite honest with you guys, where you have to pull that money out because it happened. I'll be honest, just as a business owner, you have to plan for certain things, because another funny thing is that I find so many different drivers inside of the industry like to claim this independence of being a business owner, having that freedom and everything like that, but they're not really running their journey inside of the rideshare industry as such, right? Because they're not planning for the unknown. I feel like everyone out there inside of the rideshare industry, you need to have that emergency stash of money to the side, where it's like, I'm already planning inside of my journey for a major mechanical issue potentially with my vehicle. And the deeper reason why I say this is because if you're this guy that's putting 60, 70 hours per week in the industry beating up this vehicle, right? At the end of the year, you're 70,000 miles in on this video, this car. But year over year, if you plan to continue doing that, you have to realize that eventually you will be driving a vehicle, right, that has 200, 300,000 miles on it, because you're putting 70,000 miles per year on this vehicle, right? No matter what you doing that many miles per year, there is going to come a point where even if, right, if you wanted to plan ahead, you should definitely be doing so, because there could be a point where you may have a car that's not that old, but it has so many miles and that transmission and that engine is beat up to the point where you should have a emergency savings to the side, where it's like, hey, you know what? At some point, I'm already planning to go ahead and swap this engine that has 300,000 miles out for a lower miles one that might have 60, 70,000 miles, if not even brand new. That way I could get some more years out of, beating up this vehicle inside of the rideshare industry, and I don't have to worry about getting another vehicle, which there's a lot of people now, they will go ahead and realize how much their car has depreciated 3-4 years down the road when they go ahead and hit the dealership again, and they're looking to go ahead and trade this vehicle in, for another one. So now I am going to be honest with you guys, because we have some more numbers to add to these calculations here that we're basically totaling up for the year. I really believe, with everything that I've said to you guys, right, that you need to be probably putting at least $5,000 per year, just calculations, right, for all of these other costs for the year. That would give you a nice cushion on any mechanical issues, that could arise, big or small, right? So that's another $5,000 for the year, right, that we've tucked to the side, and expenses we've had to add. And we have not spoke about whatever the actual cost is going to be for when it comes for the actual car payment, and also the car insurance that you are spending as well, which, when we think about it from a business standpoint, right? So we have $5,000 so far already for the year. Let's say that you have a average car payment, right? You didn't go out and get anything crazy, right? Let's just say $450 for the month. And I am not going to take any arguments in the comments from you guys saying, hey, you know what? It's not all ride share. If you're driving 60, 70 hours per week in the industry, we can go ahead and chuck all of this cost up to, this is what we actually have to deduct, right? So $450 a month generally for the car payment. And then let's hypothetically say you're not as an extreme payment on car insurance like what we face up here in New York and New Jersey. Let's say you're in the middle. Let's hypothetically say $250, right? So that's $700 a month. If you times that out by 12, that comes to $8,400. The $8,400 on top of the $5,000 brings us to $13,400, right? And it's tricky with that number, because with that number, again, I want to make sure you guys understand so far what we have covered, right? We've covered normal wear and tear maintenance of the car, like oil changes, tires, things like that. We've covered small maintenance issues, and in that $5,000 that we've added, it also covers a little bit of an emergency savings cushion for us if we have any major repair issues, with that vehicle. So then now, what's not included so far in this number that we've gotten to is now, what is the year-over-year depreciation of the vehicle we're using inside of the rideshare industry? What's important to note is that this might actually be a cost that we don't even realize the first year. It's like I've mentioned previously, it's going to be important for you to go on to Kelley Blue Book and really try to break these numbers down and keep track of them, year over year, because what I advise drivers to do is keep track of that number. And if you see there's a difference of $2,000, it's going to be very important for you to take that money that year. Just like, and we could speak about the tax burden too of being in the rideshare industry. I might save that for another video, because we're kind of already pushing long on this video, but the tax burden, that's a whole nother story, right? Right now we're talking about the depreciation, right? Let's just hypothetically say you're on the brighter side of things.